last session with cricket and money and entrepreneurship. Well, you can expect the best in terms of understanding and best in terms of cricket. So Harsh needs no introduction, but from an unknown company to an unforgettable brand, it's just incredible to see what Harsh has managed to create. I've gone through your wonderful journey, Harsh. And what was more like a idea which you discovered in a pub of fantasy sport, you've made it a real empire. How did the idea start? What motivated you? And why is that you never decided, like एक Indian होता है ना भाई पापा के business में जाना है. That never happened.
Yeah, so thanks for having me here. Well, the idea started actually in 2001 when I went to Sevenoaks in London for my high school. And I was a big Manchester United fan. Any Manchester United fans here? Any football fans? Oh, well, finally a good season after 10 years. So
I'm Liverpool fan. I'm going to ask you a tough question. I don't
then
like Man.
I might.
I'm telling you.
I think we have to end the session here. But actually, Liverpool fan, it's great to talk to you guys this year. How's it going?
The tough questions are coming next.
Okay. Yeah. So, in 2001, being a Manchester United fan, I went to Sevenoaks and I fell in love with this new thing I learned there called fantasy football. And I was playing it, for about 6-7 years until I came back to India after my engineering. And that time there was a league starting up. For the first time, cricket had a league. And that was the Indian Premier League, the IPL. And so I told all my friends that, we love fantasy football so much. Let's go play fantasy cricket. Or Thai nahi. So I don't know if you all remember Super Selector. So we all love Super Selector back in the day. Perfect example of right product, bad timing, right? And at that point we said that no, India with 1 billion cricket fans has to have fantasy cricket. So we didn't do any research, we didn't do any, we did basic research that, okay, 1 billion cricket fans, a couple 100 million online, huge in the US and UK mature markets of sports, so it has to work here. And we just launched, right? We just went for it. And only one of my friends was foolish enough to join me. He's my co-founder today, Bhavit. And, we just started. And went around asking people for advice. Is this a good idea? Everyone told us what a horrible idea it was. And then I didn't, they all said, go join Papa's business. Itna acha business hai, ye chhod ke, ye sab fantasy mein kyun lag rahe ho? So he said, nahi, karna hai. I was 22 years old, so I had a license to kill. Yeah, I had all right to say, nahi, I'll start my own thing. Family was very supportive. And so we started. And that's how we started. And just like everyone else said, it was a horrible idea. And it crashed and burned. Like for the next 3-4 years, we watched as the idea was just a terrible idea and didn't work. And then it pivoted in 2012 to what you see today. And that's when Dream 11 started working.
So after you started burning, what did Papa say and what did Mummy say?
So it's a funny story that, when I started, I was a 22-year-old and I was a spoiled brat, born with a silver spoon. So I went and asked my dad that, there's this fantasy sports, I want to do it. So he was to his credit, he was very progressive and said, no, you must do entrepreneurship, try it out. It was a win-win, right? Yeah, either I go, try something out and kuch ban jata hai, or I go, I fail and I learn how to actually ki mehnat karni padti hai, to build something. So I asked him for 2 crores. So you're like, hey, why do you need 2 crores to start up? Start with 50 lakhs and all. And I was like, nahi, chahiye. This is how much you need to start. And finally I got my way. So I got 2 crores. My first employee I hired was for like 40 lakhs. As a 22-year-old engineer, I didn't understand P&L really well. So I hired this guy for 40 lakhs. He comes on board and he says, 2 saal mein to salary mein hi kharcha ho jayega. So where's the rest of the money to fund it? So then I went back to my dad after 1 month and said, now we need 10 crores. So at that time he threw a fit, obviously. He said that you don't have responsibility about how much you're taking. And after a long drawn battle, my mom stepped in as a peacemaker. Except that she said that, dekho, you know, I'm sure most of you all understand like Marwadi moms and the love for a son for a Marwadi mom. And she said, ek hi to beta hai. 10 crore de do na. So that was how we got our first round of funding. And we got the 10. But yeah, that's, you know, unfortunately a tough lesson that my dad was right and everyone else was right. And we learned the hard way. But that also taught us to value money. And I never agreed to go back and raise a single penny from dad and the family, and we made it somehow.
What I understand is that initially the words which you got every time you made a pitch was not a great idea. It is a terrible idea. It is a horrible idea. It is not fit for India. You walked every alley and you walked every lane and you were rejected more than 15 times.
150 probably.
150 times, okay, I remember 150 times, but that never stopped you.
No, I think that's why, you know, my biggest advice to other entrepreneurs is also find a big problem that you are truly passionate about, that personally means a lot to you, and try to solve that, because it is going to be extremely hard. Sometimes maybe you're in a hot sector and your first round is very easy. But then the following path is very likely to be, you know, bumpy. And I think for all entrepreneurs, if you take a 10-year journey, it's a very bumpy ride. And unless you are truly, deeply passionate about it, you can ride the highs, but you won't be able to survive the lows.
So what kept you going? Was it passion? Was it belief? या फिर जिद थी कि भाई करना है?
नहीं, जिद थी. I mean, it was passion, and उससे तो जिद आती है. And it was also like kind of proving, you know, you have a chip on your shoulder, right? Now, itna ladke, you took 10 crores and you burnt it all. And then I wasn't going back and saying that the whole world is right. Everyone was right. So we're like, kuch bhi karke, we have to figure it out. So we started a digital agency on the side, learned how to do servicing, learned how to sell to people, learned what is credit and debit on a P&L, learned what is a balance sheet, and then figure out how to actually build a company. Once we did that, and then we pivoted Dream 11 to what you see today, and that started working. We sold the digital agency and put that money, we got 10-15 crores for that, and then put that back into Dream 11, and then that became our next round of funding.
Okay, so 10 crore रुपया मम्मी पापा ने दे दिया.
जी.
But आज की valuation तो $10 billion है.
थोड़ा सा कम, but हाँ.
थोड़ा सा कम $10 billion हो जाएगी. पर 10 करोड़ को 10 बिलियन बनाना कितने जीरो होते हैं कोई काउंट करेगा? रुपये को क्या पकड़े?
अभी ये फॉरेक्स एक्सचेंज रेट है तो छोड़ो ना.
फिर अभी काउंट करते 80 पकड़े?
सॉरी,
रुपये को 80 पकड़ते हैं जी थोड़े, तो काउंट करें?
नहीं नहीं.
How did it happen? That is the interesting part.
I think it happened because India, I mean, look, I think the most, having done this for 15 years, I think persistence, tenacity is a big part of founders' journeys. Just hang in there and keep going and you will get your chance. Usually you get that one chance everyone gets at some point to catch a wave. Now you have to keep pivoting to find that wave and find that chance. But I think we've been fortunate to be there when the Indian internet industry started to take off, when the Flipkarts of the world trained the Indian population to spend online, when the UPI came in and really helped everyone to pay online, when Jio came and powered everyone's data consumption, and when Hotstar went and bought the rights for cricket streaming and made cricket online for free for the first time. We've been fortunate to carry on the, ride on the tailwinds of a lot of these things that have happened. So I think if you hang around enough, you will catch a wave, but you have to catch it at that time. And that's what we've kept doing, fortunately. And you have to have a large TAM. If you have, investors often talk about team and TAM as the most important things, right? Team, obviously the people. TAM as a total addressable market. if you have a large addressable market, you can go wrong. You can be wrong a few times. And it's very forgiving. If you have a small market, if you go wrong, it's a death knell. So we were targeting the Indian cricket population, which is as large a TAM as you can get.
Now, you've used the word entrepreneurship is first identifying the problem,
Right.
solving the problem,
Yes.
using leverage to your advantage, and giving a better experience. अब क्रिकेट खेलना तो प्रॉब्लम थोड़ी है, वो तो एंजॉयमेंट है.
Yep.
योर साउंड आप बोल रहे हो क्रिकेट की प्रॉब्लम देखने की प्रॉब्लम मैंने सॉल्व करी. So what was that problem which you were able to identify, which no one, we cannot see?
So there's different ways to look at a problem, right? Like buying at the kirana wala was also not a problem, but then we have e-commerce. Paying with cash wasn't a problem, but then now we have UPI and digital payment instruments. It's about convenience. Now, in this case, in our case, cricket you could watch, but for 50 years, people have just transacted one way with cricket, right? With sports in India. You would either listen to cricket on the radio, then we went to black and white TV, then we went to color TV, then we went to the mobile phone, but it's just one way. Where's your engagement? Now we live in a country where it's amazing, right? You talk to your taxi driver, you talk to your staff at home, you talk to your boss, you talk to your family, and everyone will tell you, वो last ball पे ना जडेजा को ऐसे मारना चाहिए था in this last IPL final, and धोनी आया first ball पे ऐसे नहीं मारना चाहिए था. He had to hit a ground shot, and why did this person go opening? Why? Everyone has an opinion in India on cricket. We just found a problem that people want to engage with sports in a much deeper way, two-way engagement. And fantasy sports allowed you to do that.
Let's look at what is the path ahead for fantasy sports now, both in terms of regulatory and in terms of judicial.
Sure.
Couple of years ago, there was this whole gray area, skill, chance, chance, skill, chance. Do you think now the rules and the regulations are clear, and you think you can grow with the existing law of the land?
I think for the longest time, the judiciary has been very clear about skill and chance. Games are defined in India as games of predominant skill or predominant chance. So the minute you have predominant chance, they are betting and gambling. If they have predominant skill, they are legal and protected by the Constitution as a business, regular business. Fortunately for us, the courts have ruled in our favor when someone took us to court, saying that this is betting and gambling, and courts ruled up right up to the Supreme Court, I think about 6 or 7 times now, that every single time the court ruled that Dream 11's format is a game of skill, not chance, and protected by the Constitution as a regular business. So I think judiciary has always been clear about that. And that's helped us grow. Today, now that the industry has grown so much, we are very thankful that, in fact, Minister of State Rajiv Chandrasekhar he was just here talking about how the internet has led to, under his watch, been treated as open, progressive, safe, trusted, accountable. They've also looked at, for the first time, regulating online gaming. This has been a really important aspect for us. We've been asking for regulations forever, and we are very, very happy that this government is taking that forward step to regulate gaming, right from the Honorable PM saying that India can be a gaming superpower, leading up to regulations now coming for online gaming, will only propel gaming in the right way forward. In every industry, there are good actors and bad actors. I think it's very good for the government to come and carve out regulations to separate that and to protect the Indian consumer. Today we have 20 crore Indians just on Dream 11 that are playing.
20 crore
20 crore Indians, all 18 and above. So it's a sizable population that needs to be protected in the Indian gaming ecosystem from user harm. So we welcome regulations and we look forward to them.
A very basic question, which is that where, to your mind, is the twist in terms of the GST, and what will be the impact of that on the entire gaming industry?
Well, I think for, right from service tax till today, for those that, talk about our business model so you understand, we allow people to play either for free or for money. The money part is, because it's a game of skill, it's allowed by the Constitution of India as a regular business and protected by law. It is permitted as not gambling and betting. And so if you play for free, then obviously 80% of our 20 crore users play for free.
इंडिया में फ्री जरूरी है.
Correct. वो तो करना ही है.